Welcome to CandleLight Audiobooks. Chapter 21. Everyone knew Little Treasure preferred peace and quiet. Normally, he would hide away in his room after dinner. Once the servants finished their duties, they were to return to their rooms and not come out. They were not to make a single sound, lest they provoke Little Treasure into throwing a tantrum or going out of control. Madame Goldberg had been worried about Little Treasure before, and had entered his room a few times to offer him some food. The result was Little Treasure locking himself in the attic. This was why Little Treasure refused to move in with the two elders even though they loved him so much. Yet right now, Little Treasure had actually left his room on his own. Not only that, Little Treasure ran directly to Theo and hugged his leg. Cleo guffawed. "What's Little Treasure doing? Does he want something?" Already seeing through his son's intentions, Theo rejected the unspoken request without skipping a beat. "No, you already went there last night." Little Treasure then looked at Theo's cell phone. "You already had one phone call at dinner." Theo refused again. Watching from the sidelines, Cleo finally understood. So the little guy was missing Luna. Little Treasure saw that he wouldn't be able to get what he wanted from his father, so he ran over to Cleo and also hugged his leg. Cleo was overwhelmed and flattered. No, baby darling, don't use this act on me. You know your second uncle can't win against your cuteness." While Little Treasure was normally nearly always impassive, when he wanted something, his expression and mannerisms would turn so adorable, one could just die and come back to life from it. Once he looked up at you with those big, beautiful, shiny eyes, you couldn't help but want to fly into the sky to bring him the stars. The only person in the entire household who could resist Little Treasure's appeal was Theo. Cleo threw his hands up in the air. "Little Treasure, acting like this won't work. I can't defeat your dad." Hearing this, Little Treasure let go of Cleo. A ruthless resolution. The little guy looked as if he had been separated from his lover by cold-hearted parents. Cleo laughed so hard he had to use the wall to support himself. "Ah, Little Treasure, you don't have to be in such a rush. There's a saying that love lasts longer when lovers are separated, since absence makes the heart grow fonder. Wait until your dad marries Auntie Luna, then you can see her every day." His words had no effect. The little guy ran out the door. Cleo shrugged. "What do we do now?" "He ate a lot tonight," Theo said. His words meant that a hunger strike couldn't be used anytime soon as the ultimate threat. Cleo relaxed at his brother's words. But they underestimated Little Treasure. He was a child, so he didn't need to scheme big, just one word, havoc, was enough. Right after they were done talking, there was a loud bang from the living room downstairs. Cleo and his brother glanced at each other, and they sprinted downstairs. In such a short time, the entire living room was already a mess. A big vase, originally as tall as a person, lay shattered on the floor. Anything that could be pushed over or broken had shared the same fate. Theo Goldberg. Theo only used Little Treasure's full name when he was truly angry. If even Cleo couldn't handle that frightening pressure, how could Little Treasure? Little Treasure quivered with fear at the sight of his father's enraged face. He became even more agitated and his emotions ran wild. He started screaming at the top of his lungs and ran around to break more things. Cleo immediately chased after him, cautiously aware of how there were so many broken shards on the floor. It would be disastrous if they fell. Chapter 22. "Brother, we can't continue like this. Why don't we just call Luna over?" "We cannot call her," Theo replied coldly. Cleo did his best to persuade him. "Brother, Little Treasure is a child, not a work employee. Don't be too harsh with him. There's nothing wrong with spoiling him a bit. What child doesn't throw a tantrum? It is not your place to teach me how to raise my child." Theo's expression was icy. It appeared that he was determined not to let Little Treasure get used to acting out in order to get his way. It was a real headache for Cleo, caught in between this father and son pair. If the situation got any further out of hand that the two elders heard about it, the fact that he had brought Little Treasure to a wine bar would be exposed once they started looking deeper. God, someone quickly come and save him. While Theo went to catch Little Treasure, Cleo sneakily sent a hasty text message to Luna's cell phone. That evening, Luna was at home reading her script while messaging some people online at the same time. Evil Fairy King, little Luna, can't you change your old-fashioned QQ name? It irritates my eyes. Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, and Evil Fairy King isn't irritating. You have the nerve to criticize me. Evil Fairy King, cough, I'm back next month, come to the airport to pick me up. Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, not going, busy. Evil Fairy King, come pick me up. Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, I said I'm busy. Evil Fairy King, are you coming or not? Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, the other party doesn't want to speak to you and throws a dog at you. Evil Fairy King, the other party catches your dog and screws it. Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, the dog feels as though it's been pierced by a needle. Evil Fairy King, fuck. How are you dirtier than me? Also, what are you saying is a needle? Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, you started it, I'm not going to banter with you anymore, I still need to take a look at my script. Evil Fairy King, it's just a small role, what's there to look at? We used to date, are you really going to be so unfeeling? Loneliness like never-ending arrows in the void, I've dated so many, which number were you? Evil Fairy King, little Luna. Just you wait. Luna turned off her computer to focus on her script. After reading for a while, her cell phone suddenly rang, displaying an unfamiliar phone number. She was worried that it might be the production team, so she instantly picked up the call. Hello, Luna, help. You are. I'm Cleo, come to the Platinum Palace quickly. Something's happened to Little Treasure. What? What about Little Treasure? Luna immediately felt anxious. Just know it's an emergency, please hurry, hurry. Bro, could you calm down, the child is still young. Little Treasure, you can't break that, ah. Cleo sounded so serious, and the sound of things crashing and shattering coming through the phone made Luna even more nervous. She hurriedly started to change as she replied, I'm on my way. She herself didn't know what was wrong with her, but she couldn't sit still after hearing that something had happened to Little Treasure. She had only known him for a few days, but in her heart she already couldn't let him go. The Platinum Palace was pretty far away, taking a car would take approximately 40 minutes. Worried that it would take too long, Luna got her motorbike out of the garage and sped over. What would have been 40 minutes took just 10. She assumed Cleo would have notified the security guards, and after giving them her name, Luna was let in directly. She rushed to Villa number 8, where a maid was already waiting for her. Chapter 23. Since she had taken her motorbike, Luna had worn a skin-tight black leather top and leather pants. After rushing over, she removed her helmet and gloves, her long hair falling to her shoulders like a waterfall. She looked so graceful and dashing, and was simply too beautiful. Seeing her appearance, Cleo almost couldn't stop himself from whistling. Leo, did you really think I wouldn't dare touch you? In a corner of the living room, Theo had caught his son, who had nowhere else to run. In his arms, the little guy was struggling to escape, like a crazed little beast flashing its small claws. Don't. Luna hurried over to snatch Little Treasure away. Little Treasure lifted his little head to see who it was, and froze for 1 second before his large eyes turned red, and he dove deeper into Luna's embrace, clinging tightly and refusing to let go. Seeing the cute and soft little bun from yesterday trembling with so much fear in his eyes, Luna's heart twisted painfully. So angry that she no longer cared that the other party was a fearsome big boss, she fired words off at him. Mr. Goldberg, I know I'm an outsider and it's not my place to say anything, but I still need to say this one thing. There's something wrong with the way you raise him. Children this young need warmth and love, especially since Little Treasure's condition is so unique. He's had a huge trauma and doesn't have a mother by his side, you should be more patient and tolerant with him. How can you be so fierce with him? Can't you see how scared he is? And yet you would raise your hand against him. Theo, I was wrong. Cleo. He. Hearing his own big brother so plainly admit his wrongs, Cleo could only laugh to himself. When I told you that there's something wrong with the way you raise children, you chewed me out straight away. And yet when Luna tells you the exact same thing, you obediently listen. After Luna's arrival, Little Treasure was like a puppy who had seen its owner and obediently listened to every word, completely unlike the wild and fierce little lion from before. He allowed Luna to hold his hand, and was led back to his room. On the sofa, Luna lightly caressed Little Treasure's head. What happened? Everything was still fine in the morning, right? Cleo puffed up. What else could the problem be? Little Treasure missed you and wanted to see you, but my brother wouldn't allow it. He wouldn't let him call you because he was afraid we would be disturbing you. In the end, Little Treasure started throwing a tantrum and running everywhere, and thrashed the living room. My brother didn't want Little Treasure's tantrums to become a habit, so the two of them quarreled. And that's when you got here. Just because Little Treasure couldn't see me and couldn't call me. Luna found the explanation a little hard to believe. Even though Theo had said earlier that Little Treasure was now reliant on her, did she really have that much of an impact on him? What do you think? You really underestimate your influence. Seeing that she still just wouldn't understand, he explained, that day in the bar storeroom when you fainted, Little Treasure wouldn't let anyone near you. In the end, my brother had to personally carry you to the hospital. Reflexively, Luna looked at Theo. Theo personally carried me to the hospital. And then in the hospital, Little Treasure saw that you weren't there and thought you'd died. He ran riot and nearly jumped out the window. He only calmed down after my brother gave him the note you'd written for him. Last night, Little Treasure wanted to see you, so he starved himself to threaten my brother. As for tonight, because you called and told him to eat, he ate too much, so he couldn't use starvation as a tactic, that's why this happened. Ate too much? Earlier, she had told him to eat a bit more during the phone call, so was this her fault? Chapter 24. The impact of Cleo's words was too much, it took Luna a long time to digest them. She looked down at the little bun who was clinging to her tightly. Little Treasure, you broke all those things because you wanted to see me. Little Treasure nodded. Luna frowned, don't you know what you did was wrong? Little Treasure shook his head. Luna finally understood why Theo was so strict. This child probably had been spoiled so much that he felt everything should go his way. Luna's gaze turned serious. Auntie is telling you now, what you did was not right. Only bad children act that way, so don't be like this ever again, all right? Little Treasure nodded. Theo's expression was hard to describe. Little Treasure was unruly, but if he nodded and agreed to do something, he would do it without fail. The psychiatrists had tried everything to stop Little Treasure's habits of using starvation as a scare tactic, locking himself in, and even breaking things, but Little Treasure had remained completely unmoved. As for more forceful methods, the two family elders could never bear to use them, and would only persist halfway before giving in, and letting their precious grandson have his way. The influence Luna had on Little Treasure was greater than he had expected. Of course, he was delighted by this. Luna scolded Little Treasure a little more before gently coaxing him into bed. Shall I sing you a song today? Little Treasure nodded obediently. Kid, what should I sing? I know. Calabash Brothers, 7 flowers on a branch, unafraid of any storm, la 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 la. Leaning against the door, Cleo almost fell over. Little Treasure is a very intelligent boy, how can he possibly like such a childish song? But he realized the little guy was actually listening intently. What was even more amusing was that his own brother was doing the same. After Little Treasure finally fell asleep, Luna stretched out. I sang almost all of the children's songs that I know. Cleo couldn't help but cry and laugh. Then why did you sing children's songs? You can sing other songs. Those kids' songs nearly killed me. Luna used a rubber band around her wrist to tie her hair up, and lifted her bright, phoenix-like eyes. Other songs? Besides children's songs, all the songs I know are inappropriate for children. Theo's mind flashed back to when Luna had sung Under the Moonlight. Cleo became excited after hearing this. Ha ha ha, really, really? What songs? Sing them for me. Theo glared at him. Cleo was so scared, he immediately stood up. His brother was actually the jealous type. Were you nearby? Theo asked. Otherwise, how could she have gotten here so quickly? No, I was at my apartment, but I rode my motorbike over. Wasn't it fast? Luna felt proud. No wonder she was dressed like that. Her outfit today was even more stunning than yesterday's. Yesterday, she was dressed like a conservative spirit. Today, she was a wild and free demoness. That's very dangerous. Theo's expression was full of disapproval, his gaze becoming even icier as he glanced at Cleo, who had been the one to call her to come. Not at all, I'm very good on my motorbike. Luna waved her hands in protest, and then yawned. Since Little Treasure is fine, I'll be leaving then. Just as she was about to leave, Theo said, Miss Luna, I have an audacious request. Since she had already vented all her anger at him earlier, she was back to her normal self, and replied respectfully, Mr. Liu, please speak freely. I'll comply if it's within my capabilities. The Liu family was very powerful in both respectable and underground circles. Demon King Liu was someone who could attack at a single word he didn't like. Theo glanced at his son, his gaze heavy. What happened when the two of you were locked inside that bar storeroom traumatized Little Treasure more than I realized. Right now, it seems you are the only one who can console him, so until Little Treasure recovers, I hope that Miss Luna can live with us temporarily for that period of time. Luna froze after hearing Theo's request. Ha! Move here and live together. Chapter 25. Yes. Luna tugged on her hair nervously. Isn't this too inappropriate? If Little Treasure wants to see me, I can come any time to visit him. Theo appeared tired as he rubbed his forehead. There are too many unpredictable factors involved here. Especially if at night there was an emergency situation, it would be too dangerous for you to speed over here again. Because of my position, it's not convenient to keep taking Little Treasure over to see you. I know this is a troublesome request, but I'm still asking this as Little Treasure's father. I hope you can agree to it. Luna's head hurt. If Theo had tried to use his power to forcibly ask this of her, she would have outright rejected him, and then left, but he was asking so earnestly, with no thought at all to his own identity and position. Not to mention, faced with such supreme beauty, how was it possible to say no? Standing on the side, Cleo stared intently at his brother. Amazing. Who knew his brother could use such a high-end technique, turning a disadvantage into an advantage that would take out all obstacles on the path to winning Luna over? Little Treasure's existence was no longer his weakness, but now his biggest advantage. Suddenly there was a loud bang. Little Treasure had jumped off the bed in fright, knocking the bedside lamp over. When he saw Luna, the fear in the kid's eyes eased, and he shot like an arrow towards her. The intense fear in those eyes would twist the heart of anyone who saw it. Luna quickly bent down. Darling, why are you awake? The little guy rested his head against her, and his small arms hugged her tightly around the neck, not letting go. It's okay, Auntie is here. Don't be scared, don't be scared. Luna lightly patted his back. She could smell a sweet milk scent on him, and her emotions became a little complicated. She actually avoided getting close with children, so why couldn't she bring herself to dislike it when it came to Little Treasure? Luna coaxed Little Treasure to sleep once more before closing the bedroom door softly and coming out. She noticed that the mess in the living room downstairs had already been cleaned up by the servants. As expected of servants of the Goldberg family, not only were they efficient, they were also well trained. They all knew of and were curious to death about Luna's visit. Still, no one gave her a second glance or dared speak a word of gossip. They only went about their business and left quietly. Theo noticed she had come out, but didn't say a word to pressure her. He only silently looked at her. Luna was hesitant. She thought of the expression Little Treasure had made when he wouldn't let go of her sleeve, and finally she gave in to her feelings. She breathed in deeply before letting it out. "All right, Mr. Goldberg. I'll agree to your request. Consider it me paying Little Treasure back for saving me last time." Theo visibly relaxed. "Thank you. Little Treasure could wake up at any time, so it looks like I won't be leaving tonight, but all my things are at my apartment." Luna was troubled. "That won't be a problem, I'll have someone go fetch them for you," Theo said, and then ordered the butler to head out. Cleo, who hadn't said a single word throughout, was stunned at how quickly the situation had escalated. So just like that they were now living together. "Did you still need something?" Theo glanced at Cleo. "I'm leaving now." The third wheel, who was discarded by his own brother, quickly left. He had thought that Luna was fierce, but his brother was no weakling either. He finally realized that his brother wasn't clueless when it came to chasing girls. It was just that for the past 32 years, he had simply never let himself go. Theo showed Luna to a room next to Little Treasure's. "From now on, you can stay in here. I'll find someone to come redecorate it in whatever style you like." Luna waved her hands in protest. No need. I'll only be living here for a few days, it's not like it's permanent. Redecorating is too troublesome." "It's not troublesome." Theo took a large set of keys from the butler and handed them to her. "These are the keys to the house. You can come and go as you like. The main entrance uses a passcode, 591414. This is the key to the attic. You should keep it with you since it's Little Treasure's favorite hiding place, so he likes to steal it. This is..." Seeing that Theo was about to give her the key to the safe in his home, Luna cut him off. Wait. Mr. Goldberg, you're being a bit too carefree. Aren't you scared I'll rob you? What do you want?" "I'll find someone to help you move it." Theo seemed completely serious. He didn't look like he was joking at all. Chapter 26. Cough, cough, cough. Luna felt completely defeated by Theo and hurriedly said, "I'm just kidding, it was a joke." It seemed as if Theo was addicted to giving away keys, as he gave her yet another one. "It's not easy to catch cabs in this area, and going to work might be inconvenient for you. Southwest, you can drive this car." Luna. Why? She was only going to live here for a short time. Why did she feel like a mistress? No, that's not right. If she was a mistress, she would be hidden away outside, not given the keys to the main residence, and even responsibility of a child. Wow, this felt like being a newlywed. Suddenly, she thought of the first time she'd met Theo, and how he had abruptly proposed to her. She thought that she understood everything about men, but the one standing before her was like a computer program with a top-notch firewall that she just couldn't hack. She didn't know whether agreeing to his request in a moment of sympathy and weakness was going to be a disaster or good fortune. Little Treasure's frame of mind that night was rather unstable, so as a precaution, Luna slept beside him on the same bed. In the middle of the night, the door of the bedroom was pushed open gently and silently. Footsteps drew closer, and a man knelt by the side of the bed. In the soft, yellow light from the bedside lamp, the woman on the bed looked like she had been patting Little Treasure before drifting into sleep, her breathing shallow and expression warm. Her soft lips were like summer cherry blossoms, and slightly parted as if in unspoken invitation. After a while, a dark shadow encroached on the faint light as the figure of a man crept closer. He was only a breath away, just a bit more, and their lips would touch. But abruptly he stopped himself, before leaving a cool kiss on the woman's forehead. Luna, we have long days ahead of us. The next morning. Luna had thought at first that she wouldn't be able to sleep on an unfamiliar bed, but she had slept so well through the night without any dreams. When she woke, she realized that Little Treasure was already awake. The little guy was reading a book at her side in a serious manner, not making a single sound. He was clearly such a good child, she really couldn't imagine what the little bun was like when he threw a tantrum. "Darling, good morning." Luna sat up and greeted him warmly. Little Treasure looked up happily from his book. Though he didn't say anything and his expression seemed unchanged, Luna could tell from his eyes how pleased he was. Amused, Luna stretched out a hand to flick an unruly lock of hair away. "Today Auntie doesn't need to work, so I can keep you company." At her words, the little guy was so visibly happier, he even smiled a little. Luna was practically bleeding out from all the cuteness. She couldn't help but squeeze his little cheeks. "Darling, smile more. You are too cute when you smile." After showering, she went downstairs where breakfast had already been prepared. Luna didn't see Theo, and none of the servants mentioned anything about waiting for him to eat, so she assumed he had already gone to work. After breakfast, Luna was worried that she didn't really know how to take care of a child. What would she do if she didn't care for him properly? In the end, her worries were for nothing. The whole morning, she was on the sofa looking at her script, while Little Treasure sat at a table next to her reading books or drawing. They didn't bother each other but shared a harmonious air. The servants only appeared once the whole time to bring some dim sum and fruit. Their movements were very quiet and light, as if afraid to disturb him. It appeared Little Treasure especially liked peace and quiet. Chapter 27. Standing in a corner, the old butler silently observed the two people, one big and one small, inside the living room. He realized that Luna was not behaving as he had imagined she would. He thought that she would desperately do anything to win the young master over, but instead she spent the entire morning reading her script. Meanwhile, the little young master was reading his books and drawing as usual. Nothing much was different, but if one observed carefully, they would realize he would occasionally glance at Luna, and he would then appear vibrant and at ease. Women who are too beautiful easily cause others to feel insecure, which was why when the old butler had first seen Luna, he had been worried and afraid that the eldest young master had been deceived. From his observations so far, she wasn't doing anything inappropriate, but she could just be biding her time. So many women in the city were covetously eyeing the position of Mrs. Goldberg, scheming many ways to become Little Treasure's stepmother. 2 years ago, that horrible incident even happened because of this, and little young master. So when he saw for himself that this woman had gained the eldest young master's trust, that the second young master wasn't intervening in their affairs, and that even the little young master seemed to really like this woman, he decided to be on his guard against her. He couldn't help but be cautious. Unknowingly, 2 hours passed. Luna was pretty much done with her script when Little Treasure also finished his drawing, which he brought over to show her. Luna lifted her head to look, and was surprised. This drawing is me." One really couldn't tell that while Little Treasure seemed calm and quiet in nature, his preferred drawing style was Fauvism. Fauve artists tended to enjoy using bright and heavy colors with straight and heavy strokes, creating vibrant and powerful artworks expressing their emotions and passion. Although the person in the drawing looked a little strange, it captured all her important aspects, so Luna could immediately recognize herself. Little Treasure nodded as he gripped the drawing nervously, as if scared she wouldn't like it. "It's so beautiful. Can I take a picture of it to use as my phone wallpaper?" Luna was not trying to purposely flatter Little Treasure, these were her true feelings. She had always particularly loved art in the Fauve style for the vibrant contrast in colors. Looking at Little Treasure's drawing with her basic understanding of art, she felt he was already a master in the style. Little Treasure felt shy as he pressed his lips together and gave her the drawing. Luna pointed at herself. "You're giving it to me?" Little Treasure nodded his head. "Thank you. I love it so much." Luna hugged Little Treasure and kissed him on his soft cheeks. Little Treasure froze briefly before his little face started to blush red. His blank, sullen eyes finally sparkled with some life. During this warm exchange, Luna heard footsteps from above. She turned her head to see Theo slowly coming down the stairs. He was wearing casual home clothes and his hair was messy, most likely from having just woke up. Theo's usual appearance was already very mesmerizing, but the gap between his current disheveled look and his usual image was so large that the impact was even more powerful. He was so sexy, there was no cure for it. Luna felt dazed for a moment before coming back to reality. "Mr. Goldberg, you didn't go to work today. Wasn't today a Monday?" "Yes, I took the day off." Theo nodded his head. Luna thought it was understandable. He had just signed a major deal which had taken a lot of effort to secure. It was natural to take a break after that. So even Big Boss Goldberg knew how to sleep in. Suddenly, the distance between them seemed to shrink a bit. Chapter 28. "This is the first time Little Treasure has drawn a portrait," Theo noted after glancing at the drawing Luna was holding. "Really? Then I'm honored." Luna was pleased. "What do you want to eat in the afternoon?" Theo asked. It seemed not just her living expenses, her food expenses were also covered. Just when Luna was about to reply, her cell phone suddenly rang. Sophia was calling. Did she arrange another minor role for her? "Hello, Sophia. Luna, the opening ceremony for the world will be held at noon at Pearl Hotel. Don't be late." "What? Noon? Today at noon?" "That's right. Today." "Sophia, why didn't you tell me earlier? It's already almost 11. What do you mean earlier? Aren't I telling you an hour early now? 1 hour might not be enough time for me to get there, not to mention I still have to dress and do my makeup." "That's your problem, not mine. I'm busy, so I'm hanging up now." As soon as she finished speaking, the line was cut off. "Sophia. Fuck your grandpa." Luna threw her phone. In the silence that followed, Luna froze. Little Treasure froze. Theo also froze. Luna wiped her face, hating herself and wanting to dig a hole to hide in. She had been too impulsive, forgetting that she was in the Goldberg residence and there was even a precious child present. She didn't care about acting like a well-bred lady in front of Theo, but it wouldn't be good if Little Treasure learned anything bad from her. Cough cough, Little Treasure, let's pretend you didn't hear anything just now. You can't copy Auntie and scold people like that, because the one Auntie was scolding isn't even a person. Luna explained seriously. Little Treasure blinked a few times, and then nodded like he understood. A flash of amusement flickered in Theo's eyes. "What happened?" Luna clenched her jaw. "The opening ceremony for the world is at noon. It's nearly 11 and my manager only told me about it just now. It takes at least 50 minutes to get to Pearl Hotel from here. Am I supposed to appear on camera barefaced?" "Why not? You're pretty enough as it is." Luna was stunned for a moment. She never thought Theo would say such words, and she shook her head embarrassedly. Cough, I thank Master Theo for his praise, but for these sort of events, it's only polite to be dressed properly. Most importantly, I don't have anything appropriate to wear, and there will be a lot of paparazzi there. Ah, so frustrating. Wait a moment. Theo raised his hand to let her know not to worry, and then carried his cell phone to the courtyard to make a call. 10 minutes later, a person rushed over, gasping for breath. "CEO Goldberg, the things you wanted are all here. Do we start now?" The person who had arrived was wearing ripped jeans and a gray cotton top. There was a very striking dark blue piercing in his left ear. Luna was startled to find that this person looked very familiar. Of course, what Luna meant by familiar was that she knew him, but he did not know her. This was Arthur, the person under Glory World Entertainment known as the Godly Hand, and personal stylist to the Queen of Films, Arthur. This was someone so famous, a small fry like her could only admire him from afar. "This is..." Luna's face was filled with suspicion. "You don't recognize him?" Theo asked. "This is the famous Arthur, of course I recognize him." "I meant why did you call him over?" "Naturally, he's here to style you," Theo said matter-of-factly. Dark lines appeared on Luna's forehead as she moved closer to whisper in his ear, You would actually make Glory World's people style me? Are you kidding? Don't you know I'm an artiste under Starlight Entertainment? Glory World Entertainment and Starlight Entertainment are practically enemies. So what? Theo wore an overbearing CEO's expression. Chapter 29. So what? Luna was choked with speechlessness. Big Boss Goldberg, do your employees know you are asking them to help artistes from another company? From the looks of it, they didn't have any idea. Right now she was an unknown. How could this god possibly recognize her? She really felt defeated by Theo. Glory World Entertainment is a subsidiary of your Goldberg Corporation. Though Cleo managed Glory World, the ultimate boss behind the scenes was Theo. 5 years ago, Goldberg Corporation stepped into the entertainment industry when they took over Glory World Entertainment and created an entertainment empire which was able to compete against the oldest and most established entertainment company, Starlight Entertainment. The current rivalry between the two companies was very intense. Employees in the different companies, from the artistes and managers to the stylists and assistants, never got along. Clashes were inevitable when both companies had employees on the same set. Theo glanced down at his watch. The minivan is in the front outside. You can do your makeup on the road. You should have enough time to get there. Whether you go or not is up to you. Luna's stomach tightened painfully, and she clenched her jaw. I'm going. Since Theo didn't seem to care, then she wouldn't care either. She was surprised when Theo followed her. You're going to? Who else is going to drive? Also, Little Treasure wants to be with you a bit longer. He made it sound so natural and logical, like she had asked a silly question. Next to him, Little Treasure nodded his head enthusiastically. All right. In the end, 4 people, including the stylist, Arthur, got into the minivan. Theo, who hadn't even changed out of his home clothes, was in the front driving, while Luna and Arthur were in the back, with Little Treasure climbing slightly over his seat to observe them. Arthur's gaze was approving as he assessed Luna. This lady has near-perfect features and very good skin, light makeup will do. If I may ask, what event are you headed to? It would help me pick out the best outfit. It's an opening ceremony for a movie. Luna was afraid she'd be beaten up if the other party found out she was an artiste with Starlight. Thankfully, Arthur didn't ask too much, only nodded to show he understood, and continued to help her do her makeup. The timing was perfect. Luna's makeup was done just as they reached their destination. Theo parked the car and turned off the engine. He turned around, arm on the back of his seat, and looked at the woman who had just finished dressing up. How is it? Luna asked, a little nervous. Not bad. For a harshman like Theo to say, not bad, was really not simple. Little Treasure, moreover, was looking at her with an expression of wonder. That gave Luna more confidence, and she hugged Little Treasure apologetically. Darling, I'm sorry I have to break my promise, but Auntie promises once work is over, I'll rush over to accompany you. Little Treasure was reluctant to let go, but he knew she was in a hurry, so he released her and waved goodbye. Seeing the 2 people behind her, one big and one small, Luna's heart felt full. After being alone for so long, it was the first time she experienced such warm feelings. After Luna left, the position of driver naturally switched to Arthur. Arthur couldn't resist the gossip in his heart, and as he drove, he carefully asked, Boss, who was that lady just now? Is she a new artiste at our company? How come I've never seen her before? Mother. Their big boss actually had a woman. This was huge news. Theo dropped his chin in his hand as he casually replied, Starlight Entertainment's artiste. Arthur. In that instant, Arthur felt he had been unjustly used. Big boss. You actually had me style an artiste from Starlight. How could the boss actually help an enemy and betray his own company? Even the second young master does not date anyone from Starlight, okay? If it were the second young master sitting here, Arthur would definitely curse him unreservedly. But the person sitting here was Demon King Theo. He could only bite his tongue and feel wronged. What made his heart go cold was that he couldn't help but suspect that this no-name artiste from Starlight might possibly become their boss's future wife. After all, this was a woman who got along well with the little prince. It was truly not simple. Chapter 30. The opening ceremony of the world. The cast and crew were all there, lights flashed repeatedly, the paparazzi amassed like clouds, and a large group of fans hovered on the fringes. The majority of the fans were around the main female lead actress, Emma Brown, and the main male lead actor, Ethan White. One was Starlight's precious leading lady, the other was an Academy Award winner. Such a good-looking and striking pair was bound to attract a lot of attention. Emma, we all know that this is the second time that you and Ethan will be playing a couple on screen. Do you think you could fall for him in real life? Haha, Ethan is very attractive, but it's not possible, because I don't have any more space in my heart for him. All the reporters went into a frenzy at her words. A year ago, Emma had publicly announced that she had a boyfriend, and everyone had scrambled to find more information. In the end, they found out that the other party was the son of John Martin, the CEO of Martin Corporation. He had status, money, and looks. He was practically perfect, and everyone else couldn't help but feel envious. The fans felt sad, but the fans of today were no longer like those in the past who would get upset over their idols dating and getting married. The majority nowadays wished for their idol to find a good partner. Emma's popularity hadn't suffered even after she revealed her relationship status. On the contrary, she maintained her fame through topics like handsome rich boyfriend and a winner at life. Beside her, Ethan also knew how to respond. He immediately clutched his chest, acting like his heart was in pain. Miss Jenna, you are truly ruthless. This prince has already given his heart only to you. For the movie, Emma was going to play the female lead Jenna Wilson while Ethan had been cast in the role of the prince. The reporters loudly laughed as they teased Ethan. The atmosphere was very lively. After the leading actor and actress, the next person everyone looked forward to seeing the most was the actress for the supporting female lead. A group of people surrounded David. Director Hopper, how come we don't see the actress for Ella Smith? Will she come today? Of course she will. According to some rumors, Mia's audition wasn't successful because you felt that she wasn't beautiful enough. Is that true? They were clearly trying to stir up trouble with such a question. But Director Hopper wasn't new to this game, and his reply was flawless. It's true that physical beauty is a very high requirement for the role of Ella, but it's definitely not the only standard we were looking at. Mia's appearance wasn't the issue, she just unfortunately didn't have the aura we were looking for. I heard that the actress for Ella is a rookie, is that correct? Your standards for the role of Ella are so high, can this rookie completely meet all expectations? What was going on today? Were there not enough red packets? The reporters' questions were becoming more pointed, all of them targeted at the second female lead. This question can wait until the movie is out, everyone please look forward to it. But the reporters wouldn't let go of the issue, and asked aggressively, Director Hopper, is the actress for Ella prettier than Mia Gray? When was it going to end? Yes. She was far prettier than Mia. So what if Mia is the kind of beauty that comes once every 100 years, once you see Luna, let's see if you still dare bring up Mia again. Everyone is unique in their own way, wait till she gets here, then you'll know. Director Hopper was getting impatient with the questioning, when at that moment, a figure appeared at the start of the red carpet. His gaze was frozen for 3 seconds, before he came out of his reverie and laughed. Speak of the devil.